Hi, friends. The cycle of negative talk is ending today. It is. It's going to be fantastic. Let me tell you, I grew up in a house where negative talk to each other was pretty common. And it took me a very long time to understand how the brain works, how to rewrite my own thoughts, and to make sure that when they come through, I'm really good and keen and quick to change the script because we're human and we have thoughts that come through our minds all the time. And as we stand in our creator mode and we know that we can decide what it is that we want to continue with our stories, it's really easy to flip the script now. So let's talk about negative talk needs to go. Self-doubt needs to go. All of it needs to go because we're really shifting into a whole new era and a whole new cycle that's coming where that idea of anything that holds you back by your own doing is going to have a magnified effect to it. It's going to slow you down way more than you ever imagined before. Things can happen pretty rapidly, and because we are having this collective conscious mindset conversation that happens throughout media, movies, social platforms, we really understand how we're connected. We know that we can rewire the brain. We know about the placebo effect. We know that how we perceive reality, we create reality, how we think about ourselves in the world, we're creating those experiences outside of us. So we really have to get to this place where negative talk has to get nipped in the bud. It has to just be converted because it doesn't serve you. And as with anything that we keep thinking about, they magnify and they quantum leap into whatever either we're jumping or we're diving into a pool, we're diving into a well, we're diving into the deep in the wrong way. We can go in the right way, we can go in the wrong way. And after years of my own sense of wallowing in self-pity, self-doubt, insecurities that were just projected on me from people around me, and realizing that those illusions were just cast so that I wouldn't actually get to do the work that I wanted to do. Once I saw that to this like really finite degree, when I understood how it all works and how much I can take on or not take on, everything shifted. And I want to talk about that because it's in within our capabilities. Like our purpose here is to create. And in order to create, we have to have a very clear mind in what it is that we envision in our lives and the things that we want to experience, because this is the gift that we have. We get to experience this. And we get to also decide how much suffering we want to continue to sit with or how we want to change and get up and keep going and move on because life has both highs and lows. There is a part of suffering that's in the human condition. There is a part of us feeling every emotion in our own capacities that just happens in life. You're not getting out of it. No spirituality, no spiritual mindset is going to take you away from it for not experiencing it all. However, you also get to decide how much of that suffering you want to have. Negative talk. Negative talk will whip stories in your mind that will chain you and prison you and tell you that your comfort zone is paradise. Now, of course, we get to choose whatever we want to do. It's up to you, however you want to. Decide to move forward in your life, decide to how you think about your life, the situation that you're in. But I want to give you one tip, one thing that really changed it for me. And it was just deciding that it's all working out. Everything's working out. The delays, the miscommunication, the obstacles, the challenges, all of it was really, in fact, a design to make sure that I'm sharp in my skills, to make it so that I'm really specific on details, that I am just mastering my own emotions and mindset as I maneuver through life. And once I started to understand the little hidden gems behind these things, they disappeared. I moved through them pretty quickly and they disappeared. And I started to see how ebb and flow life is. And once I started to accept whatever was in front of me, some of it that I could design, some of it out of my control, but that it's just all magically working for me. Whatever annoyance, frustration, nuance that was happening disappears. Because then I start to see the other side of it, and then it becomes a joy, and then something else shifts and moves. I want you to try this experiment when you're driving. And if you have some big truck that comes in front of you, or some vehicle that comes in front of you and is much slower than the path and the pace that you're used to taking, and you're frustrated, take a pause and see how that might actually be of benefit for you. That maybe it's just a sign to slow down. Maybe you need to pay attention to something. Maybe you need to enjoy the ride. And just know that you're going to get there on time and just relax. And usually the car will either change lanes or move, or you just move on to a different point of focus and the traffic moves along just enough and you're just fine. And we can just shift and change these little things. Do it when you're in the supermarket, when you're in the grocery store, shopping for something, and something gets in the way. Something you didn't plan, something that's annoying, and see how this can now flip into some benefit for you. And see how, observe what changes. If you have something going on at work, that's a nuance. And for a moment, pause and see how this could be a blessing. This might actually work for you. And you might not even realize what it is per se, but see if there's something that you can at least glean from it, or at least be okay with what's going on and just know it's going to work out some way, shape, or form, and it'll reveal itself to me at its right time. And just know that whatever it is happening is all working out for you in your best interest, and hold to whatever vision that you have going on in your life. Because what tends to happen is that we lose sight of that vision that we have. We get hope and we get joy and we get this burst of inspiration. And then what happens? Our inner critic comes in, these negative Nancy thoughts come in, no offense, Nancy. And before you know it, there's like another wave of energy that comes in, another emotion that comes in that kind of pulls you down a little bit, or something didn't quite look or turn out the way that you thought, or something catches your eye and it just changes the perspective just a little bit. That's all it really is. It's something that comes into our view and it changes our perspective. And then we're sort of left to sit with a new way of looking at it that doesn't quite feel pleasing. So what do we do with that? Sometimes it's looking at things to say, like, maybe it didn't result in the way that we wanted it to. Maybe it didn't turn out the way that we thought it would. Maybe we didn't get the response that we thought it was going to get. Can we just accept it and move on and show up the exact way we want to keep continuing, and know that all of these steps and all of these things are going to be in your best interest, are working out for you? I've talked about this in my newsletters in the past, where I really encourage, highly encourage, if ever there's a moment where you're inspired to take action and do something, to go and do it, even and especially if it doesn't really make sense. If it doesn't quite fit into what it is that you're doing, if it's maybe a little bit off in left field, if it feels like it's not quite what you had planned, it's out of the ordinary, but you're really, really interested in it. There's something about it that sparks your interest. Please go do those things. Let it be a hobby, let it be just whatever it's going to be, but pursue that little project that is tapping you on the shoulder. Because I have found time and time again that I will go and do something, explore an idea, research something, and down the road, because I had pursued that, I now have some bit of information, some material thing that I've done that I can leverage for a new conversation just out of the blue, unbeknownst to me. And it's like another puzzle piece falls into place, and it sort of becomes this beautiful mosaic of pieces that work for itself, experiences that I have that just keep building on themselves in ways I couldn't even imagine because that's the structure and beauty of life. That's the thread that puts everything together. But if I don't play my role, if I don't play my hand in what my inspiration is telling me to go do, and I don't stand in that creator mode and that role and do it, I'm missing out. And those that could have benefited from everything that I wanted to do would be missing out. So the negative cycle needs to end because you're here watching this, knowing that you're ready to do something big, or you're in the middle of doing something big, or you're maybe finishing it up, ready to do something new. We're embarking on new territory, and we really need to get to this place where we're trusting our instincts, we're trusting our intuition because we know who we are, and we're taking action in things, and we're just continuing to build and build and build on top of that. We need individuals who are geared to think critically, who want to tackle problem solving and challenges and not wait for someone else to do it. And it starts off in the fun little easy things or the things that just happen because you want them to happen, and then there's somehow a benefit. Charles Darwin's best book was on earthworms because he was interested in it and he pursued that for 11 years, putting jars of worms in his study, monitoring them, looking at them at night, in the day, how they ate, how they reacted. And he found some really interesting things that farmers now use today with fertilizer and earthworms to make our food even better. You never know the full extent of what it is that you're being given to pursue will have an effect on the world. It's not your job to decide that. Your only job is to create and to really see the sacredness of the inspiration that's coming into you so that you're putting it down on paper, so that you're doing something with it. That's a really important task that you need to have. So you need to learn how to flip the script and take those thoughts, those common thoughts about you're not good enough, you don't know if you can do it, you don't know how, there's something about your age, some excuse that you're giving yourself, flip it. Take that same thing that you think is holding you back or causing lack and see the positive in it. If you feel like it's your age, your race, your size, your whatever, see how that's a positive. See how that actually makes you unique for doing what it is that you need to do. Or your situation that you're in, you're struggling and it's a challenge. Some of the most creative things I've ever seen had the most requirements and parameters around them. And it was because of those requirements and parameters that something really magnificent came about. Just because you have a lot of time and money and maybe an exponential budget doesn't mean that it's always going to be good. It's the ingenuity and the creativity that each one of us brings to the table that makes something really amazing. So free yourself. No more negative talk. Free yourself from the shackles of limited thinking. And it is merely as simple as knowing that everything is working out for you, even when you can't see it, and shifting the way you perceive the world around you and how you perceive yourself in it. And just say that even if it's not there yet, you don't see it, you know there's benefit that you can bring to the world in your creative pursuits, whatever that is. Whatever it is that you're here to do, you're going to figure it out because you're going to step in every inspired action, and that purpose will reveal itself. And even if it doesn't have a purpose, it's the fact that you were inspired in action, and that itself is a purpose. So let go of the negative talk for yourself, create something wonderful, share it with the world. Thank you for being here. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.